The city of Tshwane has condemned what it describes as thuggish and violent behavior of striking workers after 4 municipal vehicles were torched. Workers affiliated to the South African Municipal Workers Union are being blamed for the attack. The metro has seen weeks of no waste collection due to an unprotected strike by workers calling for salary increases. For more on this, we're joined now by Gauteng Cogta MEC Khumalo. Very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. Public order police officers from the Tshwane district have now been deployed to assist with the ongoing issues in the city of Tshwane. The situation isn't getting any better. What is your take?
Good morning to you and good morning to your viewers at home. I think the first thing that we want to express our view on is that these incidents that are happening are just but a symptom of the bigger problem in Tshwane. We want to deal with the causes of why we found ourselves being there. So the first thing is that we looked at what are the issues at the table. As we know it, the issues on the table is that the Collective Bargaining Council would have reached a 3-year agreement with the workers, which agreement ends in June of 2024. And that the city of Tshwane, for one reason or the other, would have applied for an exemption because of the reasons that they had. And that particular exemption was not upheld by the competent court. And subsequent to that, or parallel to that, there were about 323 workers that are dismissed, those were reversed, and now about 122 were affected, but the report is that everything else has been reversed and so on and so on. But what is the issue that we want to really employ the executive mayor and the collective of Tshwane to focus on is, instead of us focusing on the legal provisions that we have that can enable us to do this and that, because I've also seen that immediately after the court decision on the application of the exemption, immediately the Tshwane municipality said we want to take this thing to review. But we're saying all of this thing will protect the issues, and at a point where we have to deal with them, the situation in Tshwane in terms of service delivery will have so deteriorated that a blame game will now start. As matters stand now, you can see the executive of Tshwane want to blame the union blames the administration, and all of those kinds. So we don't want to be caught in that. But we want to say to them, I've dispatched a letter to the executive mayor of Tshwane with my proposal on how I think they should deal with the situation there. So, but at the core of it, we're calling for, instead of going the litigation or the legal route, the parties must sit down. So we're calling for a mediation, because if parties sit down, then they deal with the situation in a better way, identify the issues that I've made reference to, look at what the possible solutions are. Those solutions must be underpinned by what the mandate of the municipalities is, which is to ensure that we provide service delivery to the people of Tshwane. Because as matters stands, we can see slowly but surely that the service delivery is deteriorating in that part of the town, and we're becoming concerned because we've got certain legislative responsibilities, particularly as it relates to deterioration of service delivery. If a municipality cannot perform of its function, which function is the basic function that they need to perform, we cannot sit back as a province and not do anything in that regard. So that is why we want to call for the parties to come together. We are prepared to can appoint that mediator, professional, independent person that can help them to really resolve the situation. You will recall, when I started here, one of the things that I was emphasizing as the MEC is that we've got to put together a strong conflict resolution mechanism in municipalities. both in the context of coalition government and in the context of what is happening currently in Tshwane. So
MEC, if you'll allow me, the protest action has essentially been rumbling in the capital city since July. I mean, that's quite a long time, with the workers downing tools or going on go-slows. You raised the issue of the impact on service delivery, because now this is raising some serious concerns on whether or not basic services to the residents of Tshwane are being met. You speak about this proposal. How has it been received? I mean, it's good on paper, but implementation, will that happen?
Well, we dispatched the letter, in all fairness, yesterday to the mayor of Tshwane. I'm still awaiting for his, I'm sure he's going to apply his mind, and I'm sure that he will respond back to us as to what his attitude is to what we put on the table. The point being, I do not want to go there when the situation is so bad, when I have to then look at whether we must do 139, in other words, dissolve the municipality or not. No, we want to move with the municipality all the way in resolving the issues as such.
The Tshwane Mayor Silius Brink has since called for the intervention of intelligence and public order policing at a national level to safeguard the city, what he says is against organized crime. Are you of the view that this is indeed organized crime, or perhaps just a show of disgruntlement with workers just sending a very clear message to government?
The problem here is the city of Tshwane is seized with the symptoms, and they know what the causes are. Firstly, that municipality is in a downward slope from a number of areas, amongst others even from a financial point of view. And that is why we are where we are, where we're talking about possible exemptions and all of those kind of things. We've got to focus ourselves. Of course, yes, the security establishment must do their work in a situation where there's, for instance, torturing of the vehicles of municipalities, intimidation of people, and all of those kind of things. So criminal elements that always happen in protests like this must be dealt with accordingly. But I do not think we should be focusing all our energies in trying to resolve that. The municipality must just refer those to the relevant agencies and focus on what's to be done. And what's to be done is to resolve the issue of exemption, and we're saying negotiate that out, is to ensure that we avoid by all costs that service delivery must deteriorate as much as service delivery is deteriorating, but also is to engage with the communities of Tshwane to say it is not helpful to torture the vehicles of municipalities, because tomorrow we need them to come and do service delivery in our community. So an engagement would be a better platform, rather than looking at what this provision of the law says to us we can do, what the function of that agency of government can do. And so, because if I look at the situation, there's almost a standoff where people are looking at what the law that they can use against each other to resolve that problem. We don't think it is a better way to do it. If you look at what happened in the Western Cape on the issues of taxis, for instance, it was the same thing, where there's kind of a standoff and a show of power. We are government. We will show you, and the taxi association, no, we will have to defend ourselves. Same thing is happening there. We are union, we are government, we are local municipalities, we will show you. The union says, we've got our own rights, we will defend ourselves, and so on. So we're saying those kind of things are symptoms of the causes. What is the causes? And part of the cause is, of course, that the municipality is in a financial dire situation.
Yes. That
is why we wanted to be exempted. We should talk about all of those kind of issues and see how best do we resolve them, rather than what is happening currently now.
So should the city fail to resolve this dispute, also factoring in the proposal that you've sent. Should that proposal not be implemented or not accepted, you made mention very briefly as you're talking about dissolving the municipality. Would that be the last resort in terms of trying to find a way forward in the midst of all the challenges that the city is facing, especially speaking to that financial challenge, which is a huge factor?
Yes, indeed, it is an action of the last resort. And I've explained that even if you look at the prescripts that enables us to do that kind of an intervention, they will detail as to exactly how you go about that, so that you avoid what has happened in the past, where when that intervention is made, people go to court and all of those kind of things. I do not want that to happen. It is there in law. We can exercise it, and when time permits for us to exercise it, we will do so. But what we are saying to the municipality now is, let us work together to try and resolve the problems as you are faced up with. And that is why we are saying we have identified what are the issues are on the table. We are imploring you to consider a conflict resolution mechanism in a form of mediation. Let us see how far will that take us to. However, when we are saying to them what we are not going to allow is deterioration of service delivery. Remember, that is a capital city.
Yes.
We can't. It's not just any other city. It's a capital city. You've got the ambassadors' offices there, and so on and so on. The whole world is seated there. It's been hosted there in Tshwane. So because of all of those factors, we will take that very seriously. But also, the community, the people, if people do not get what is due to them, they will not be able in return to exercise their responsibility. We are on the drive to migrate people to smart meters, to encourage communities to pay for their services and all of those kind of things. But people will not be able to do that if they are not getting anything that is due to them. Worst of all now, it's workers who are so unhappy. And you can't have an institution which the moral of workers is down, because they will not be able to discharge their responsibilities as such. So we're saying, let's sort out that issue of workers quickly, so that we get everybody back at work, and not only at work, but discharging their responsibilities rather than being in and out of courts.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Let's perhaps leave it there for now. Gauteng Cogta MEC Khumalo speaking about the sort of action that has been taking place in the city of Tshwane, as the city describes it as thuggish and violent behavior of striking workers.